Very good afternoon and welcome to Racing International. We head down to KZN today, KwaZulu-Natal. We have 8 races on the poly track. Let's go and have a look at that track and give you a bit of an idea. Well, I'm just going to say it. I say it every week. Inside draws are preferred over all distance, but especially over the 1,000, 1,200 metres as you're jumping halfway around the turn. Only a short running of 400 metres, but they certainly can make up some ground when they hook to the outside. All right, first on the card today's over the 1,400 more for the 2-year-old. It's a juvenile plate. And number 5 is where we're leaning here, and the reasons are here, and it's a decent price at the moment. You're going to get around about 7.5 to 1. Well, that's what price it is this morning. And this horse ran in behind Palladium last time, who was well beaten by 5 lengths when running 4th. But Palladium's come out and won again on the big feature day, so that form's certainly been franked, and I reckon that price is definitely going to shorten. Drawn nicely also in barrier 2. Talking about number 2, don't leave this out with top jockey Anton Marcus aboard. Put the blinkers on today, drawn nicely in barrier 3. Lightly raced, only had the 2 starts so far. Tries a little bit further today. All right, the trifectas, Maroon, we would pop that in. Warren Kennedy is the jockey change there. He jumps aboard. Another one around about 8 to 1. Certainly 2 good runs in its last 2 starts over the 1,400. Has gone straight to the front, tried to make every post winner and hasn't failed by too much, and it gets a good draw again in barrier 1. Number 4, Mr. O'Neill. Stewie Randolph jumps aboard. Now this is drawn out wide in barrier 12. We'll need a bit of luck from there, but looking at the breeding, certainly will be looking for the extra trip today and expect this one from the wide draw to be running on late. Race 2 on the card is a maiden plate for the 2-year-olds, and it's over the 1,400 metres. We're leaning towards number 12 here, White Rose from the Glen Cotson stables. Only had the 1 run under the belt and certainly caught the guy when there was a touch of outside money for it. 16s into 14 to 1 on that occasion, and only went down by a length and 3/4. Look for more improvement, drawn nicely in barrier 4. I thought the 5 might have a bit of a squeak here as well with Lyle Ewertson, who claims 1.5 off the back for the powerful Michael Azzi stable. It's having its first run today, so keep an eye on the betting. Currently very short in the market at 2 to 1 and also drawn well in that barrier 2. I thought number 8's worth including as well. Another well-bred individual from the Mike de Kock stable. Now this one's got Anthony Del Pesce aboard. Now that's interesting because Anthony and Mike de Kock stable had a bit of a breakup and he hasn't been riding for them. So good to see him back on good terms with them, with Wai Chong Mowing not riding today, and this one's drawn in barrier 8. Throw in the 1 as well, but it is coming off a bit of a break of 144 days. Had 2 runs. They were both down in Cape Town, and it was only beaten 6 lengths, running into second to a very smart horse, Cloth of Cloud. So note that, but it is drawn out wide in barrier 11. Race 3 on the card is over the 1,400 metres. We've got another maiden plate on our hands here, and number 11's where we're leaning to, Roy Saint. Now, it's coming off an incredibly long layoff, but I think it's got a bit of a squeak. It's not the strongest of fields here, and if this horse doesn't need the run, could go pretty close. It's drawn out a wee bit wide, but I'm going to put my head down there. Might be a nice place bet. I think it's a very open race here. All right, number 3, that's also coming off a break of 70 days. Keegan DeMello jumps aboard for the Dennis Dreyer stable. Saw Dennis in Cape Town last week, looking in fine fettle. And it's, like I said, it's a very open race here. You could probably pick half a dozen to win this race, but certainly worth included. Found a bit of market support now into 28 to 10. 2 Courageous King. Now, this has got Anton Marcus. Note there's a change there. Brandon Lorena not riding today, so Anton Marcus jumps aboard. Drawn nicely in barrier 4. Another horse with moderate sort of form, but it's a moderate sort of race. It's got a reasonable draw. It must have a chance with a top jockey aboard. Now, number 1, Trinity Hall. I could have tipped this a lot closer, but gee, it's drawn out wide in barrier 15. Need luck from there, but it's got the claim of the 4 kilos off the kid claiming now. Now brings it in with a decent galloping weight of only 56 kilos. Another one now finding a bit of market support in that open race at 33 to 10. Race 4 on the card is a merit-rated 98 handicap. Nice race this one. It's over the 1,400 metres. And number 10's where we're going, Executive Power, Alec Forbes, 33 to 10. Now, this has got a nice galloping weight with 54.5. I like the horse has been running against some pretty smart horses, just finishing just in behind them and also drawn in pole position in barrier 1. I think it's a nice price. Hopefully, we end up getting around about 7 to 2, 4 to 1 each way. A lot of people are saying to me, don't you dare leave out number 3. Well, I wouldn't. It's got some decent form, goes well over this sort of distance, drawn nicely in barrier 3. It's only had the one run on the poly track, and that was its first start when moving up from Cape Town, and it needed that run desperately. Since then, it's had a win and certainly wasn't disgraced last time when storming home over the 1,750 metres. So coming back to a slightly shorter trip here, but is drawn well in that barrier 3. Now, number 11, we've tipped this to you a few times, and it hasn't been finishing that far behind. It's one of those disappointing horses that always there and thereabouts. You think you got a chance and doesn't quite go on with it, but it is drawn well in barrier 4, and a horse that needs to go into those trifectas. If you're looking for one more, maybe number 12, Master James, who is coming off a lengthy layoff for 115 days. Trainer says, here's the quote from the Dean Kanamea stable, he thinks it can still run into the places, even though it might be just short of a run, and the blinkers go on today. So please note that, and also top jockey Anthony Del Pesh, he jumps aboard. Race 5 on the card is over the 1,400 metre. Merit rated 81 handicap. And number 1, Irish Pride. Even though it's drawn out wide, I'm taking a flyer here. It's got the form to win this race, but it has to overcome that barrier 12. They hit the top turn pretty quick. Remember, 1,000 and 1,200 halfway around the straight, 1,400 on the top turn. He's going to need a bit of luck. Now, there's a jockey change. Note this. Anton Marcus jumps aboard. Let's just hope he can find a reasonable position. Also trying the poly for the first time today. Number 9, Chill. I reckon this has got a bit of a squeak as well, but unfortunately drawn out in barrier 9. Now, with the claim off the back, certainly brings it in with a very light weight of 48.5. Now, this has got oodles and oodles of gate speed, so I don't think the draw is going to affect it. It's going to bounce out, and I tell you what, with only 48.5, might be a bit of a sneaker here at 12-1. Number 3, Bizjet from the Colin Scott stable. Lyle Ewitts and the apprentice takes 1.5 off the back, brings it in with 55. Now, this is drawn better in barrier 6. I just hope you can repeat that run going back 4 starts ago when only finishing a quarter of a length behind Chill. Thought number 8 is also not out of the race. Got a bit of a claim off the back here. It's going to be taking one off. It'll bring it in with 52. Another horse that's been ultra consistent. And I think there's going to be a few people saying this horse has finally cracked a draw in barrier 5. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this horse fight out the finish. Here we go, race 6 on the card. They jump halfway around the turn and it's over the 1,200 metres. I like number 2. I'm keen on this one today. Blinkers back on, 17-2. Decent price there. Drawn nicely in barrier 1. It is making its poly debut. It's had 3 runs since moving down from Johannesburg. I think it's going to be a lot fitter here. And look at the horse that ran behind last time. Only 5.5 lengths behind Bella Bella. And I tell you what, she's got a chance in the Durban July coming up in a couple of weeks. Our biggest race in South Africa. So if she's good enough to do that, coming back to a handicap here, watch out. She has got to carry a bit of weight, 61 kilos. Now, number 9, Bengal Boy, Anton Marcus, carries 58.5. So even the bottom weights are carrying a bit of weight here. Drawn nicely in barrier 5, ultra consistent, never finishes too far behind. And look who they've popped on top. Anton Marcus. All right, trifecta time. Number 7, Seattle Lady. They've taken the blinkers off. Still got the claim of 4 kilos, though. Comes off with the apprentice aboard. 55.5. Drawn nicely in barrier 6. And here's a horse that's always finishing on top of them. It brings down the Johannesburg form, which is normally stronger than the KZN form. So certainly include this one at 5-1. Number 1, Mr. Roy, drawn nicely in barrier 4. Now, it's going to carry the big weight here of 61.5 kilos. But now they put the apprentice on. He claims the 2.5 off the back, brings it in with 59. And the comment is certainly a place chance here. So certainly pop it in to those bigger trifectas. Race 7 on the card is over the 1,000 metres. Remember, they jump halfway around the turn there. It's another maiden plate for the fillies and the mares. And number 1, Rain in Africa, looks the best bet on the card here. Brings down the Joburg form. Should be too good for this field. I must say, it's a very ordinary field. If it's ever going to come out the maidens, today is the day. But very short, drawn nicely in barrier 1. Are there dangers? I don't really think so, but I'll throw in the 3 and the 2 here into the trifectas. They're decent prices, both of them, with the short price favourite, number 1, and I think these 2 should fight out 2nd and 3rd place. All right, let's have a look at our 4th selection, and that's number 9. And I've thrown in a first timer here from the Patrick Lund stable. Now here's the comment, it could be running on. That's the comment there. They think it'll probably get out of its ground from a wide draw in barrier 10, but they said might be worth putting in with a claim off the back now. Only 54.5, should be doing its best work late. Race 8 on the card is the maiden plate, and we're travelling over the 2,000 metres. Another open-looking race here, but Lyle Hewitson takes the valuable 1.5 off the back and brings it in with 58.5, drawn nicely in barrier 5, and I think number 10, Silver Sage, could be too good for these. Had 2 runs under the belt. The only thing to think about here, it is having its second run after rest, but it has had 21 days in between runs. If the second run after rest catches it out, well, certainly number 4, Smart World, Anton Marcus, is drawn out a wee bit wide, but maybe over the 2,000 metres won't bother it too much in barrier 10. Now firm in the market at 3-1, certainly improving with every run. It's only had the 4 runs under the belt and certainly was a much better effort last time when running on strongly over the 16. Third run after the gelding today, so certainly got a lot going for it. Also popped in the 5 there, Sambora. Muzieni jumps aboard for the Duncan Howell stable. Well, another one drawn out, unfortunately, a bit wide in barrier 15, but the trainer's comments are, will certainly enjoy this trip better. They tried it over the 2-4 last time. They thought it was a touch too far, better suited today over the 2,000 metres. Number 6, Forever. I've popped this in. It is coming off a break, but it's been well supported in its last 4 outings. Been a little disappointing. It ran a couple of decent seconds and a third. Just can't get across the line, but does get a decent draw today in barrier 4. And also the apprentice claims 2.5 off the back and now brings it in with 57.5. Yep, looks pretty competitive. 1 or 2 short prize favourites I do like, but the others are drawn out a bit wide, so keep an eye on that. Certainly pretty tough. It's a very tight course, and remember, it's only a 400-metre run-in when they turn for home. We're going to be putting up all our selections at our Twitter account at Racing in Tips. From myself, Rod McCurdy, and all the team, we certainly wish you a very successful punting afternoon.